6 off his 10 overs, but it was the last 3 that really did get New South Wales back into the match. Holdsworth, 10 overs, no wicket for 44. And Neil Jones picking up his first wicket for New South Wales in any form of cricket. 1 for 44 as well. McNamara 1 for 59, a little expensive today. And Greg Matthews only bowling 3 overs, no wicket for 15. He did do a good job in the field though, Matthews, kept things happening, and with his bowling changes, tried to make it as difficult as he could for the Queensland batsmen on conditions which are really suited to scoring runs. So the New South Wales side now require 266 for victory at a run rate of 5.32. They've got an excellent pitch on which to do it, and an outfield which is quite conducive to scoring runs. And after the break, we'll be back to see what's going to be an excellent afternoon of cricket. Happening, in particular the races. The Autumn Race Carnival gets underway shortly. We'll be crossing to Warwick Farm and Caulfield Cup during the course of the afternoon to bring you up to date with the winners of those races. And now to help you put a few dollars in your pocket, a man will give us all the good oil on what's happening in the racing scene. Here's Ken Callender.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Well, there's racing.
Another opportunity to show the selectors that he's certainly ready for a recall into the side, possibly for the South African tour, but certainly for the tour to the Ashes series in England later on in the year. Richard Cheekwee's with him. A run rate of 5.32 is required. I'll tell you more about it now in the commentary position, Ian Chappell, and with him, Carl Rackerman.
Thanks very much, Greg. Speaking of players who put their name before the selectors, Stuart Law certainly did that in posting his score, which gives New South Wales a big chase. Michael Slater on strike. At the Vulture Street end, it's going to be Brendan Creevy for Queensland. 1 slip and a gully. And it virtually went to first slip. It was well and truly on the way until Wade Seckham intercepted it. A little bit of swing there for Brendan Creevy. Better delivery there from Brendan Creevy, although that one signalled no ball. So a wide and a no ball to start with. Be good in the extras department for New South Wales. Cheekwee now comes on strike for New South Wales. Has a good strike rate in the high 60s. Oh, he's lucky to get away with that one. So Carl Rackerman, confident of Queensland's chances?
Putting my Queensland hat on, Ian, I'd have to be fairly confident at this stage. But 260, 270, anything in that range is a big total to chase. But a couple of guys out there with bats in their hands at the moment that are very dangerous customers, Michael Slater and Richard Cheekwee. And much depends on the opening partnership for New South Wales.
I guess when we're looking at that target of 266 at an asking rate of 5.32 as it was at the start of the innings, it's worth making the point that you made earlier about the slow outfield. So you can probably add, well, maybe 15 to 20 to that target.
Yeah, I think so. I had a figure of 20 in my mind. This morning, the grass, it may have been a little slower this morning. A day's sun and get some of the overnight freshness out of it. But it's certainly a good total. It's a great total. But Queensland's opening partnership, and at one stage running at 5.8 or nearly 6 runs and over, Jimmy Maher and Trevor Barsby, that came to a pretty abrupt halt with 3 wickets falling in a hurry. And then Jeff Foley and Stuart Law resurrected and went on to put together a 4th wicket record partnership for Australian domestic one-day cricket. Single down to fine leg there for Michael Slater. And that's what really got Queensland pushed up towards such a big total. But as I said before, Richard Chee and Michael Slater are both noted hard-hitting, aggressive batsmen that can really take the game to the bowlers. And New South Wales get a similar start to Queensland. It's probably an open ball game.
That's the way Richard Chee plays. Not frightened to hit the ball over the top. New South Wales will be encouraged by the fact that the pitch is a very good one. Curator Kevin Mitchell Jr. has produced an excellent one-day pitch, allowing the batsman to do exactly that, hit through the line of the ball. Chee on that occasion lofting the ball on purpose. If he hangs around for a while, he'll do a bit more of that. New South Wales, after 1 over, are none for 8.
Did you use the GTX?
Boss, that GTX costs a few bucks extra, so I got to thinking, maybe...
Bruno, this car cost me a lot of dough, and I ain't risking it to save a couple of lousy bucks, okay?
Yep.
It's the best. Get it.
Yeah. Oils ain't oils.
If your car's worth a couple of extra bucks, it's worth Castrol GTX.
New South Wales with quite a big chase ahead of them here in this first semi-final of the Mercantile Mutual Cup competition. None for 8 after 1 over, chasing 266 for victory. They were helped a little bit in that first over with some extras. And for Queensland, it's going to be Adam Dale now from the Stanley Street end. He's been a big success for Queensland this season, Carl.
Tremendous success, and was upsetting Bill Laurie earlier in the season. Bill was very perturbed that he just couldn't play game after game after game without going for more than 20 runs and picking up wickets along the way. He did go the journey on one occasion, but he's been very consistent in Sheffield Shield cricket as well, and he bowls very tight and swings the ball.
Yes, if there's anything that annoys Bill Laurie, it's slow scoring.
Well, Adam Dale was annoying him big time earlier this year, but full credit to him. He's putting the ball very much on a sixpence. Impeccable line and length, and swinging the ball generally away from the bat. A little bit of movement in, sometimes off the wicket. He won't get a lot here this afternoon. The wicket will, any moisture that was there this morning will have gone by now.
Too short and punished. Beautiful shot.
Too short and not a typical Dale delivery. That's the sort of bowling that he just wasn't displaying at all in one-day games earlier in the season. I wouldn't think he got cut for 4, perhaps at all, in the first 3 games this year. But in his first over, the odd loose ball, as a bowler, you're always prone to do that.
I think probably what was annoying Bill Laurie most is the fact that Adam Dale had moved from Victoria to Queensland, and even a bit closer to home, Northcote, which is Bill's old club. Dale bowling, Stuart Law at first slip, and the other catching man is in the gully. Just a little bit of leg cut there for Adam Dale.
That was more like it. Trademark Dale delivery. And there's a little bit of movement away there. Started to swing, actually. That was swing that just kept going. He's bowling into the faintest breeze. This morning there was absolutely no wind whatsoever. The flags were dead still. Adam Dale's bowling from the southern or Stanley Street end into the faintest breeze, so that'll help his outswing.
New South Wales, none for 13.
Only one sport in Australia has a TV channel all to itself.
Which sport?
Sports AFL on Optus Vision shows
Every AFL game, every club, every week.
Is that really enough?
19 exclusive
Live games you won't see.
anywhere else.
News,
Interviews,
reviews,
previews.
even poetry by the sound of it. Too much footy.
There's no such thing.
See all the footy on Sports AFL, but only with your Optus Vision.
Well, we have a very good first semi-final in prospect here. New South Wales have got a pretty experienced batting lineup. They've got a lot of runs to chase, but when you look through that batting order, quite a bit of experience there. And 3 of them with international experience: Slater and Shane Lee, who's played for Australia in the one-day game; Greg Matthews, 4 Test centuries to his name. Then you've got Phil Emery, who's played for Australia A. Brad McNamara has been around for a while. Gavin Robertson has played for Australia A. Phil Emery replacing Ian Healy once in a Test match. And Gavin Robertson has also played a couple of one-day internationals. So no shortage of experience in that New South Wales lineup. It's a question of whether they've got the talent on the day. Interesting in looking at that name Slater and thinking about his prospects for a recall to the Australian side. I mean, I've come out quite categorically and said I think it was a ridiculous move to drop him from the Test side. Other thing that was interesting was the fact that he'd been criticised for his play in one-day cricket. He'd been dropped from the Australian one-day side, and he was just making his return in India, and I thought he was starting to play pretty well. A couple of half centuries right at the end of the Titan Cup series, batting in the middle order, and I thought was playing pretty well. Be interesting to see whether the selectors have him in mind, if they are going to change the side in South Africa for the one-day series, and if they've got him in mind to come in as an opener or as a middle order player.
Yeah, it's a good point, Ian, and if you look further forward to the Ashes tour, and traditionally Australia take 3 opening batsmen, and as you see on the screen there now, Taylor, Elliott and Hayden are 3 opening batsmen in a South African squad of 14.
Well, that's thumped. Won't go all the way because of the heavy outfield. In fact, Michael Kasprowitz, a very good athlete, he's pulled it back quickly.
So in terms of Michael Slater's chances, I don't think Slater ever got to the stage where opposition bowlers were running in confident of getting his wicket. I think he was always a guy that they'd have considered a huge threat. And as you say, there was as big an argument as there may have been for dropping him. There was probably an equal argument for not dropping him at the time. And we'll come back to that. That's the over. New South Wales none for 16.
Payless for Carpets have containers of carpet. We bought well, so Payless for Carpets are passing the savings on to you. These bargain prices won't be repeated. Plush pile carpet from $39.95 a metre. Cut and loop carpet from $39.95 a metre. Commercial loop and pile carpet from $24.99 a metre. Indoor-outdoor carpet from $19.99 a metre. And laying from only $25 a metre on quality Bridgestone underlay. Why pay more when you can pay less at Payless for Carpets? 177 Parramatta Road, Auburn and Moore Park Supercentre.
None for 16, New South Wales. Giving a good chase after 3 overs. But it's where you are at the end of the game, not at the start of the innings, that really matters. Michael Slater on 4, and Richard Cheekwee on 8. Some interesting thoughts about Michael Slater's future. One encouraging thing is that he doesn't appear to have changed his style of batting, and that's important.
No, he doesn't look anyway a different player to me at the moment, and he's always carried himself since being dropped. He's always presented a very confident front, and since then there's been a number of good scores, and he's obviously got reselection in the Australian team firmly in his mind, at least.
Interested in your thoughts, Carl, as a bowler who would have bowled against Michael Slater quite a bit. Now, you were just making the point there about the Australian 3 openers, and it looks as though our top order, the first 3, will be left-handers. To me, that is an unbalanced lineup.
Yeah, it's a very unusual lineup to have 1, 2 and 3 all left-handers. I often, as Adam Dale comes in.
Lovely shot there from Michael Slater. Just followed the swing and beautifully stroked it over the top of cover.
Yes, the ideal is certainly to have a mixture of left and right-handers, and certainly as a bowler. Here's that shot again from Slater. He wasn't quite to the pitch of the ball, but he hit through it, milled it nicely, and although uppish and over the top of the infield, it was a very good shot, really, for 4 runs. Just turned backward a square there for a single. But the concept of 3 left-handed batsmen batting 1, 2 and 3 is something that worries people, perhaps because it's so unusual. But it didn't worry the West Indies a lot when they had Greenidge and Haynes and Richardson and Vid Richards, 1, 2, 3 and 4 all right-handers. And, you know, 3 or 4 are the same doesn't seem to be an issue if they're right-handers. I'm not sure. Left-handers, the thought is that they're perhaps a little bit more susceptible early to edging the new ball. Ideally, certainly left and right-handers batting together is the hardest thing for opposing captain and the bowlers to contend with. I personally, my opinion is the best 4 players, doesn't matter which hand they bat with.
Yes, I think that's a good point. Interested, I was talking to Amir Sahal, a left-handed opening batsman during the season. That's a good delivery. New South Wales, none for 21.
Guts of iron? Sure, he's got them. But it takes more than just guts to take on this mountain. Powerade. Because what's the point in reaching the top if you can't power back down? Powerade, now with 20% more. Free power on.
After 4 overs, New South Wales none for 21 in this first semi-final. Good bounce there for Brendan Creevy. It's the comment of Amir Sahal, who was out here with the Pakistan squad. He said, what are the Australian selectors opening with 2 left-handers for? He said, these guys being the West Indies opening bowlers, are the toughest in the world on left-handed batsmen, and he's a guy who should know about that because he's batted against them a lot.
Early's certainly well qualified to comment. And certainly the West Indies, well, they had Mark Taylor's measure for quite a while.
Anyhow, that's the squad that's currently in South Africa. There is talk that there'll be some changes. There are 7 one-day matches to be played after the 3 test matches, and there is talk that there will be some changes for the one-day series. So obviously Stuart Law is a man who has his name well and truly in front of the selectors and hasn't done himself any harm at all today with a fine knock. Michael Slater will be another one trying to push his name forward. Just an inside edge there. Quite an interesting prospect, Brendan Creevy. Carl, he looks like he's got a bit of pace.
He has got some pace. I like the look of Creevy. He's showed promise for a number of years, but in club cricket very much hot and cold. He'd have a real good day, and then you'd hear about how well he bowled last week and happened to be playing against him the week after, and you'd wonder how, because it put in a very much very average performance. But that's a ball he'd rather forget and do without, and wind back the clock if he could, wide down the leg side. But Creevy this year has put a lot more effort into his cricket. He's got fitter, he's got more dedicated, and he's worked on his bowling, and he's really got very serious about his bowling, and he's got a good approach to the wicket. He's not unlike Curtly Ambrose in some ways with just his basic bowling action. He needs to spend a bit more time in the sun, granted, but I like Creevy. He's gone about his work well. He bowled beautifully against South Australia and Adelaide earlier this year in a one-day game, and for a guy just coming into Shield cricket for his first year, I think he's handled it very well.
I was thinking that the main distinguishing point was the haircut. Actually, he's got slightly longer hair than Curtly. Well, that's a good delivery, a late-in swinger, and well pitched too, right in the block hole.
That's a top delivery from Creevy. That's as good as it gets without actually taking a wicket. That Creevy shown the ability to get the ball to leave the bat, and mainly off the pitch, gets the ball to cut away or seam away from the right-handed batsman.
That's well played. Just went with the swing on that occasion, and even despite the slow boundary, it's made the rope. None for 27.
In tonight's edition of National 9 News,
Police Commissioner at odds with the government over drug reform.
Hostage will be killed every 15 minutes.
The most skillful of opponents.
I know all about you.
I'm going to take you down. Chuck Norris.
You're good, but you're not as good as I am.
Standoff. 9:30 tonight on 9.
New South Wales making a good fist of this chase in the first 5 overs. None for 27, thanks to Chee and Slater. Slater with 2 boundaries. Chee just the 1. New South Wales needs someone to post a big score and then have some supporting scores around that big one, just as Queensland did. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Good placement there from Richard Chee. Not a lot of effort in it. He just a nice little swing of the bat, but lovely timing.
At this point in time, this is certainly the start New South Wales were looking for, and just slightly over pitch, not that badly, but he's hit it very much on the up, and didn't try to hit it too hard. That was the secret. Through the gap and ran away nicely for 3 runs, but they haven't played any silly shots as yet. New South Wales have been helped by particularly in the last over from Creevy, just drifting onto leg stump a little bit.
Just going back to Michael Slater, I think it's very important, not only for Michael Slater himself, but for Australian cricket, that he doesn't change his style. And I'm pleased to say that it doesn't appear as though being dropped from the Australian side has got to him and inhibited him as a stroke maker. Nice timing with the guy with the bag of ice as well. He's walked just past the sight board at the appropriate moment as Adam Dale is delivering the ball. Must be a Queensland supporter.
Bit of a word going around at the moment. It could be a Channel 9 employee, in fact.
It would have been, I think, a terrible thing for Australian cricket if Michael Slater had felt that he had to change his style and become more of an accumulator of runs. There are very few counter-attacking batsmen around, particularly at the top of the order, and you don't want to lose any that you've got. And Dale kicking the stumps over there in delivery.
Particularly if they're right-handers, Ian.
Well, it might have sounded as though I was pushing the barrow of right-handers, Carl, but no, I'm not. I think the point about left-handers is a lot of the bowlers are right-armers, and as you would know, your natural delivery, you don't even have to swing the ball to a left-hander, just angling it across is taking the ball to the slips, and it's an awkward one based on my experience of facing left-handers. It's good delivery. It's none for 30.
Can't sleep.
I'm worried about Jenny.
Hey?
Jobs are so hard to get, and she'll need a car, a house.
Got the run rate up to 5 early on, which is a good thing to do when you're chasing a big target, and they haven't lost any wickets. So far, so good for New South Wales. It's well picked up. Yes, I think that's the point with left-handed batsmen. You've got the right armour angling across to the slips, and if you get somebody like Curtly Ambrose who has the ability to move it back into the left-hander as well, that makes him doubly difficult.
And just to continue on about Michael Slater, to me at the moment he's looking particularly dangerous. He's looking confident, hitting the ball in the middle.
And Chee is really laying that heavy wood on the ball. It's a big bat. He doesn't swing it hard, but he does give it a full swing.
Brendan Creevy's just over pitching a little, and the last over, as I mentioned, straying not only over pitching but straying on the leg stump, and was leg glanced for runs, but that was a good shot by Chee. Cover drive. Brendan Creevy could be just trying a little hard at the moment.
That's well fielded. No slips at the moment, with Stuart Law having come into the short mid-wicket position.
Nothing wrong with the length of that ball. That was stand and deliver hit on the up and right in the middle of the bat. A very aggressive attitude from Michael Slater at this stage. None for 33.
I think more than the fact that he's a right-hander, Carl, I believe that you, if you can get some counter-attacking batsmen up at the top of the order, and if they're successful, it makes such a huge difference to the team they're playing for and also to the opposition. And I think in Michael Slater and Ricky Ponting, yes, OK, they happen to be right-handers, but they're both very good counter-attacking players. And we saw a good example of what Ponting can do right here at this very ground against the West Indies, when he came in with Australia one for not many, and by counter-attacking he took the game away from the West Indies, and it's very important in my opinion to have players who can do that.
Well, Ian, as a bowler, there's a huge difference between bowling to a batsman who'll treat your good deliveries with respect and score off the bad ones, versus a batsman that wants to take the game to you and he's after you, and as you're running into bowl you're conscious of that as a bowler. And it's another dimension. It's added pressure that against a guy that just plays the ball on its merits, it just doesn't exist.
Right.
It's none for 33.
So what do you reckon? That's not so bad.
New South Wales none for 33. With both their openers on 14. This is the first semi-final, the Mercantile Mutual competition. We have the second semi tomorrow. The winner of this game will play against the winner of Western Warriors versus the Victorian Bushrangers. That match to be played at the Wacker Ground tomorrow. Queensland posting 265. That's a good delivery. Just a little bit of movement off the seam.
Richard Chee is a little bit unorthodox, and he can be a difficult guy to bowl to. His footwork and shot selection certainly aren't always what you expect.
Those sort of players can be not only difficult for bowlers, but they can also be difficult for captains. It's much easier to captain a side when you know if the ball is delivered in a certain spot, you know exactly where the batsman's going to hit it. He's going to play an orthodox shot. Then you can place your fielders reasonably accurately. But with somebody who can pick it up from off stump and whack it over mid-wicket, if they keep doing that, then they can make an awful mess of the captain's field placings. But he did stop.
A little bit high for LBW. Good bit of fielding there. Chee safely home.
And touched to Wade second. So Slater is gone, perhaps as he often does with that cut shot, just trying to hit it a little too hard.
Well, that's the first difference in the two innings. Queensland opening partnership worth about 67, I think. And little outswinger there. Slater going for the cut shot, and really, as Ian said, trying to hit it too hard. Not in full control of his shot, and a nick to the keeper, but that's the breakthrough Queensland wanted, and certainly a very dangerous opposition batsman out of the way, Michael Slater. 1 for 34 at the Gabba.
It's always best to be out of your depth.
To say that Greg Matthews' captaincy was orthodox, and here he is now coming in at number 3 to lead by example with New South Wales at 1 for 35. Former New South Wales captain Richie Benaud joins Greg Ritchie in the commentary position.
Slashed at that one outside the off stump, Michael Slater. Easiest of chances to second. And he'll be a little bit disappointed with that. Michael Slater plays that stroke very well. A good over from Adam Dale. 2 runs from the over, but the all-important wicket of Michael Slater. And he's done a good job for Queensland. Michael Slater, as I mentioned, would have really seen 4 runs all the way there. And unfortunately, just at the moment, it's that sort of dismissal that's causing him problems.
Well, I think there's a clue there in the replay as to why Slater is having trouble with the cut shot on occasions, and it's something I mentioned last time we saw him dismissed on the cut. And just watch how he bends his legs. His back knee is bent, and there's nothing easy about the stroke. He really is going to pummel it. I think the well, it may not be the answer, but might be the question of whether or not he's doing precisely what he really wants with his footwork in playing the stroke. Kaspovic. Haven't been too many wides floating around today.
I have to agree with you, Richie. I feel that the umpires, although they've been very consistent in what they've done, have been somewhat lenient on the bowlers, particularly with deliveries down the leg side. We've come to notice that umpires will be very, very harsh on anything down there. Today, I feel the bowlers have got some very liberal leeway in deliveries down the leg side. Michael Kaspovich has had yet again another very, very good season. He played a couple of test matches, some one-day matches, best bowling of 4 for 21 in the domestic competition. He's a good competitor, Michael Kaspovich. And just in the last match, Sheffield Shield match against West Australian Warriors, had some problems with a knee. In fact, in that match, the knee locked up on him and he was unable to complete the over that he'd commenced. Robust young man. One would think that he'll get the opportunity to represent at higher honours yet again.
Well, there's a bit of competition up there, although at the same time there are quite a few injuries around, one of which might provide him with the opportunity, with Paul Rifle having done a hamstring again in South Africa. Third time Paul Rifle's had a problem with a hamstring this summer, and that won't be good news either for him or for the Australian selectors. But Michael Kaspovich, when he came into the Australian side, failed to take a wicket. Didn't bowl badly, quite well up here, quite well down south, but didn't get a wicket. And if he gets back now, it'll be just a little bit of added pressure on him.
He's causing Greg Matthews all sorts of problems at the moment, with deliveries coming back into the left-hander. Michael Kaspovich bowls outswingers to the right-hander. But at the moment, getting the ball to swing back into Greg Matthews and not giving him any space. Greg Matthews finding the inside edge quite regularly at the moment. Just a single down to fine leg, 1 for 36.
Did you use the GTX?
Boss, that GTX costs a few bucks.
That was 1 for 36. Same stage, Queensland, no wicket for 41. This is Adam Dales. Bowling to New South Wales captain Greg Matthews, who's promoted himself up the order in a move that one would think was to go out there and be bold in what he does and try and get the run rate up to a point that's going to relieve some pressure on those players down below him. And plenty of batsmen to come: Lee, Roberts, Bayliss, McNamara, as well as Robertson and Emery, all players who can hold the bat. This is going to be a very entertaining afternoon. Just an inside edge may have saved him there.
These two bowlers in the middle of quite a decent spell. Adam Dale, whom we've talked about at some length on earlier occasions, wobbles it around in the air and moves it off the seam as well. An interesting bowler. I've been moved to compare him only in style to Terry Alderman. Just got a feeling that Greg Matthews was loafing a bit there. He mightn't have realised who the fielder was.
I get the same sort of feeling. He came a long way down looking for the single. Chiku was on the back foot. Simons is the fielder, and you can't give him any room at all. That's out. Not just by a little way, but by a good metre, and had that hit. Greg Matthews, look at that. He would need a kick in the pants.
It was brilliant feeling. There's no doubt he conned the batsman into thinking just with a lazy lope to the ball, though he moves deceptively fast, and that quick flick has done him. Well, would have done him.
Comment has been made that people don't care whether they see him score runs or bowl. They simply come to the ground to watch him field. And there's very few players in the history of the game that you could say that about. But Andrew Simons is a man who just makes fielding look like poetry. His balance and speed and ability to do extraordinary things makes him a very special player. That may look easy, but I can tell you that to the average guy, he'd have been turning himself in knots trying to do that. That was almost a wicket. 1 for 37.
Introducing the great new range of Holden Rodeos. Reliable and...
7 New South Wales after 10 overs. Very, very close contest. They're chasing 266 for victory. This is Michael Kaspovitz. Single to third man. The worms there give you an indication of what has happened. The blue line, the Queenslanders, and you see they started off quite well. This period here, losing the 3 wickets. And you see what wickets have done to the Queensland scoring rate. It slowed down in this middle section. The wicket here for New South Wales.
This is the key to the game, whether or not Queensland can field so well that they'll close New South Wales out of the match. It's good cricket. Jimmy Marr.
Certainly the best fielding side in the competition, the Queensland side. They throw themselves around, all athletic. We've spoken about Andrew Simons being a wonderful fielder. Jimmy Marr is in the same sort of category. Excellent either to his left or right. Pitching outside the leg stump.
Very difficult to get an OBW if you're on that side of the wicket. Right-hand bowler to left-hand batsman. He's got to pitch in line before he can be out.
He'll be disappointed with that. See him just hitting himself on the head. He knew that that was really a boundary for the taking there on the pads, around about half volley length, and really first-class players put these away.
Stuart Law will know through playing against Greg Matthews over the years that he's predominantly an offside player. He's a driver and a pusher and a cutter as well, and that he doesn't always take advantage of balls round about Midland leg or leg. He's got his experienced bowler on here, bowling very tightly to a plan. This is inside the first 15 overs. Only 39 have come from the first 10 so far.
For 39.
Right now, hundreds of people at Mercantile Mutual are thinking about...
Adam Dale to continue. South Wales 1 for 39. And dropped. A difficult one to his left hand. He was going the wrong way. An inside edge, they're always difficult for wicket keepers. He sets himself high standards, Wade Seckham, and he looks disappointed he didn't grab this one.
Difficult but catchable. Here's the inside edge. It looked as though he didn't sight it quickly enough. He was just a little bit slow to move. May not have picked it up as quickly as he'd have wished.
Greg Matthews struggling at the moment. It was a wonderful piece of bowling by Adam Dale as well. He did cheeky with movement off the pitch to draw that inside edge. And Wade Seckham, as I mentioned, will be disappointed he didn't glove this. He does go late there. And the hand's just a little firm. He's a very fine wicketkeeper. A life for Chee, and the Queenslanders will have taken note of when that catch went down, because Chee's capable of really punishing you if you give him the opportunity.
The scoring has slowed down now. It's a combination of good bowling from the Vulture Street end from Kasperowitz, and so from Adam Dale, who's on now at the Stanley Street end. No ball called. There's been nothing easy out there for the batsman. Roberts have bowled very well.
We're in the 11th over, and Stuart Law only allowed to have 2 fieldsmen outside the circle. He has those fieldsmen on the offside for Chee. 1 man at deep point, and then another man down at third man down here. So no one down at fine leg, and Adam Dale has to be very disciplined, particularly in his line. And he's doing just that at the moment. Trying to build the pressure. The New South Wales batsman. The New South Wales batsman may have done their homework on Dale. Some talk that he finds it difficult to vary his length. He gets into a good length, into a rhythm, and stays there. Five runs off the over, 1 for 44.
You can get it jumping. You can get it pumping.
44, New South Wales. The Queenslanders starting to slow things down. Current run rate is 3.61, a run rate required now. Of 5.86. So once it gets up around 5.5 and over, there is some cause for concern, even though we're early days in the innings. When it gets up to 6, that's when you see the panic button start to be pressed. Matthews has promoted himself in the order. High score of 61, and he'll try and ruffle the bowlers out there with quick singles and the occasional hit over the top. He feels it's his responsibility to keep things moving.
That's a wide call.
I think the comment Michael Kasperowitz may have been making to Scott Prestwich, who's feeling it mid-off, is that I've seen a few a little bit wider than that today. Now to add insult to injury, a wide, and then followed by a no ball.
These two bowlers have done a very good job for Queensland. Kasperowitz probably 2 yards quicker than Dale, perhaps 3 yards. But between them, they've put the brakes on. Creevy 4 overs for 19, was loose at first, but then steadied down.
Won't see a better shot than that one. He hasn't got it to the boundary, but it was a sweet piece of timing.
It's very strange that the outfield is so slow up here for this match. Normally it's lightning fast. Dare I suggest that it might have been done with the football season starting?
You may dare. We have had a lot of rain in Queensland in the last couple of weeks, and the ground is certainly lush. That's 4. That may have appeared to be a catch. I'd say that he squeezed that into the pitch because it flew away, a square drive. 4 more to the total.
But Jeff Foley looks disappointed about him, maybe disappointed that he didn't manage to stop it, but it also looked at first glance to be a bump ball, but in fact it did fly off the thickish outside edge and away past Foley.
Over the top again, won't go to the boundary, but more runs for Chee. And this has been a very productive over for New South Wales. 11 runs coming from it. It's 1 for 55.
Sunday.
Idiot. Eat my shorts.
For 50 years, they've been the best of enemies.
Take that, you criminal!
Now, they've finally found something worth fighting for.
I'm a little man!
Jack Lemmon.
Cat crapped on my steps again.
Who says you can't train a cat?
Walter Matthau.
It's like one of them fatal attraction
And
things.
Anne Margaret.
When was the last time you made love?
1978. Regular Don Juan.
The hilarious comedy premiere.
What?
Grumpy Old Men. 8:30 Sunday on 9.
Thirteen overs have gone, 1 for 55. Chee on 26, Greg Matthews 5. In the air but safe, and another boundary. That's a very, very good stroke. It's the area where Greg Matthews is strong, square of the wicket, and anything a little short and a little wide, he laps up. That was a very, very good shot. Over the top and 4 more. Now, these are the tactics we expected to see from Matthews when he came at number 3. He's going to take it to Adam Dale. The field is up. And you need a bit of good fortune in this game, and he had a little bit here.
One off the middle, one off the edge. And he was assisted there by the fact that he'd given himself a bit of room. And was just able to, in the end, to flail the bat at it.
That's 4 more, 3 in a row. That was a very, very good shot. There was no edge about that. That came right out of the meat of the bat.
17 to Matthews now, 26 to Chee. And that's well judged. It was outside the line of the stumps, so he had the choice of going on the offside or pulling it away on the on.
Appeals for catch down the leg side, I think only to try and stop Mr. Harper from calling it a wide, but it didn't. And 1 more to the total.
Seems to be the thing to do these days, to let fly with the appeal and anything down the leg side on the basis that it might persuade the umpire.
That's a very good reply. So what an over. 3 boundaries, a wide, and then clean bowls, Greg Matthews. New South Wales lose their 2nd wicket. Greg Matthews, clean bowled by Adam Dale.
Perfectly straight. Just the sort of thing Dale wanted to do, to get it in line with the stumps on the basis that if you miss, I'll hit, and that's precisely what happened. 2 for 68 now. Matthews bowled by Dale.
This is his 20th match, averaging just over 23 with the bat. Powerful hitter of the ball. Gets a single down to fine leg, and Shane Lee is out in the centre as the result of the dismissal of his captain, Greg Matthews, in this fashion.
Good bowling from Dale. He'd taken some stick earlier in the over. This one just might have been slightly slower as well, but certainly wasn't much in it from his normal delivery. But it had Matthews playing across the line.
Good piece of fielding that completes the over. 2 for 69. New South Wales in reply to Queensland's 266. And very shortly we'll be crossing to Caulfield for race 5, the Blue Diamond Stakes. Before we do, here's Ken Callender with all the information on the tote.
The wickets have fallen for New South Wales in a hurry. New batsman out there is Kevin Roberts. He's joined the opener Richard Chikwi at a time when it looked as though New South Wales was starting to take control, with Greg Matthews smashing the ball around. He was out, 2 for 68, and then shortly afterwards Shane Lee was caught behind off the bowling of Kasprowicz, and that was 3 for 71. So Lee gone for 3. And double breakthrough there for Queensland has really helped their cause. And that's the end of a good over from Michael Kasprowicz. 2 runs and a wicket. New South Wales now 3 for 71. So a double blow there for the Blues, Kerry O'Keefe.
Yes, and they really needed Shane Lee to fire up. Caught nicking to the keeper. That's happened a bit this season. But in at 4 after Matthews and Slater had laid a foundation for him. It was there, but unfortunately a good delivery from Kasprowicz. Matthews elevated, got 17 from 20 at 3, did a job, and it falls now to the opener and the number 5. Both are good stroke makers, and they're only just off the required run rate, 3 for 71 in 15, but now the field can spread. And the first introduction of spin in this innings. So all to do for the Blues. The runs on the board in the end frustrating the Blues. They had to change. They changed their batting order, and they've lost the main striker in Shane Lee.
Jeff Foley at the Stanley Street end with his off spin. Had a very good season for Queensland with both bat and ball. And consistency is the thing that he's brought into his cricket this season. He's performed well on many occasions for the Maroons this summer. Just going back to the comment that you made there, Kerry, about Greg Matthews doing a job for New South Wales. The problem is when you come in basically playing a pinch hitter role, which it appeared that Greg Matthews was doing, and you get things rolling. He just hit 3 4s. If you've come in that sort of mood, there's a tendency to sort of keep playing in that fashion. And really what New South Wales needed was someone to go on and get a big score. And it may just have been that Matthews, after belting those boundaries, might have just sort of settled down for a little bit, because he is a player with the ability to go on and make a big score.
Yes, he was in a mode where everything was flying to the boundary. Perhaps he had to settle down. In the end, it was a good delivery from Dale, but across the line stroke from the captain. And then Lee getting a good one. So 2 good deliveries have put New South Wales on the back foot here a little.
And Foley's getting a little bit of drift. He's caught the outside edge a couple of times in this over.
They want to attack this fellow too. That initially, I think they wanted to attack Dale. He bowled too well for that. And Foley, given that there's no real spin in this pitch, they're looking to get after him. He may be just a little bit better than people think, Jeff Foley.
Man out on the cover point boundary, but he's not going to get there. That's beautifully hit. Those are the Victorian dividends from race 5 at Caulfield. Race 5 won by number 5, Knowledge. And paid $23.30, $5.70. Rose of Danehill, $2.90, and Sports paying $6.10. Misunderstanding there, and if that had hit, I think Wade Seckham had Kevin Roberts on his way.
Chee was on the back foot after this big shout for LBW. He had a long way to go. Roberts wanted it, then he didn't, and he was dead if Seckham had hit out a long way.
South Wales 3 for 79.
You're just afraid to do it. No, I'm not. Honestly, it's
a good job there in dragging it back to almost a point of being, well, they just got their nose in front. New South Wales were quite a way in front of the early comparisons. Those 2 wickets have definitely dragged New South Wales back.
A slow start from the Bulls, but then they accelerated, just as New South Wales have tried to do. They got away to a much better start, but the loss of the 2 wickets, Matthews and Lee, has them just off the pace at the moment.
Misfield, but the fieldsman there at the cover point, or extra cover, got his hand on it, knocked it over in Creevy's direction. Probably helped him.
They're the best infielding team in this competition, the Bulls. You can't take liberties with them. Ma in particular, a brilliant diver to his right and left. They save so much. Richard Chee, his batting's improved a lot since he adopted the raised backlift. He was a player that looked to work across the line a bit, but since he's got this pronounced pickup prior to the bowler delivering, he looks a much straighter player. It's always been a good square of the wicket player, but driving better than he has in a number of seasons.
Also looks as though he's got a big oak tree in his hands. There's a lot of wood in that bat.
He gets this up a long way and then has a rehearsal pickup and then the full pickup.
It's a good change of pace. It's important to note also with Richard Chee, a lot of players I think have a problem when they stand and hold the bat because they don't cock their wrists, but have a look at the way he really does cock his wrists. It's most important whether you stand and hold the bat in the air or whether you stand in the more traditional method with the bat behind the toe. In the backlift, there must be a cocking of the wrists, and he does it well. South Wales 3 for 81.
Rough roads, sharp curves.
Pre coming up, that's live from Albert Park in Melbourne on Sunday 9th of March. Always an exciting time, Australian Grand Prix, and the first Sports Sunday program will follow that Australian Formula One Grand Prix on Sunday 9th of March. So that's something to look out for, the Albert Park Grand Prix, and then Sports Sunday to follow. Well, here at the Gabba in the first semi-final of the Mercantile Mutual Cup competition, New South Wales 3 for 81, looking for 266 for victory.
Bowling, Jeffrey.
New South Wales got away to quite a good start before Michael Slater was out with the score at 34.
Adam Dale is a quality seamer, and again he gets this to jag off the pitch. A little too full for Slater to cut, and Seckham held safely.
Must be a single. Slater was out with the score at 34. New South Wales doubled the score with Greg Matthews coming in at number 3 before he was dismissed.
They wanted to get at Adam Dale. Matthews had struck him for 3 boundaries. In the end, missed a quicker one. Looking through mid-wicket, out for 17.
Losing Matthews was a big blow. A bigger one followed when Shane Lee went with a score at 71.
Lee had to play a big innings, but he got this good one from Kaspervitz, just left him late and drew an outside edge. He didn't like the decision, but the umpire said out.
Oh. Underneath edge there from Richard Cheekwee. It's an edge that's quite a few centimetres thick. These edges run as quick as most batsmen's shots coming off the middle. There's a lot of wood in that bat.
Come on, boys, let's get 4. No! Please.
Well, here at the Gabba in the first semi-final, it's New South Wales 3 for 85. It's time for us now to go to Warwick Farm for race 5. They're playing some good shots in this over. It's the second boundary for the Blues in this over. One to Kevin Roberts, and previous one Richard Cheekwee.
Cheekwee leant back and gave it the full Monty through the 2 men, and then Roberts, he's one of the sweetest timers in the game, and he's only leant on that and yet hit it twice as hard as Cheekwee's cut, and it went all the way. 10 off the over. It's 3 for 96.
Want to lose $195 in a flash? Hit
41 from 58 deliveries with 4 fours. Kevin Roberts hitting his first boundary in the last over. New South Wales coming up towards the 100 mark after 20 overs. Queensland were 3 for 125 at the halfway mark. So New South Wales maintaining the run rate. What they need is a big score from somebody, and Richard Cheekwee is on the way. It's a matter of whether he can keep it going. 5th bowler to be introduced now, Scott Prestwidge, coming on at the Vulture Street end. was Stuart Law for Queensland who went on and got the big score. Queensland captain making 91, and some other players produced around him. Jeff Foley, the main one. Very good partnership, a record partnership between those two players. But it was a big total built around Stuart Law's near century. 93 to Stuart Law, 66 to Jeff Foley, and then some good contributions from Jimmy Marr, Trevor Barsby, and Brendan Creevy with a couple of big hits right near the end of the innings.
Runs required. It's a run rate required of just under 6. Current run rate under 5. So wickets in hand. Good contest in prospect. The man on screen, the key. Can he go on? He's in good nick. Race 5, Warwick Farm, Dashing Eagle, short price favourite, winning. Assertive Lass a second. Only 5 starters, no third dividend. They ran 1, 2, 3. Handicapper's delight.
One thing that would perhaps give New South Wales a bit of confidence, Richard Cheekwee's top score in this competition was produced in a final. So that suggests that there's a touch of big match temperament about this man. Certainly New South Wales looking for a big score from him in this semi-final. New South Wales 3 for 98.
The biggest garden equipment sale is now on. Still electric blowers $135. Still petrol trimmers $225. Husqvarna petrol blowers $199. Husqvarna chainsaws $399. Victor water blasters $299.
Contest after 21 overs. New South Wales at 3 for 98. Roberts on 10. Richard Cheekwee 42. In the commentary position now, Richie Benno with Carl Rackerman.
Thanks, Ian. And Simons, who missed out with the bat, but has already shown his stuff in the field on the Stanley Street end. There's a man out at long off. You take the one there. Six bowlers into action so far. Deep point. Yes, those 6 bowlers. Dale, who has been impressive in limited overs matches all the way through this competition the last 2 or 3 years. 2 for 35. Jaspovic 1 for 20. Afternoon, Carl Rackerman.
Afternoon, Richie. And it's game on at the Gabba. But in order for that, this partnership at the moment needs to progress. Richard Cheekwee's done a great job opening the batting, 43 not out. Kevin Roberts with him at the moment on 12.
Oh, yeah.
Slater, Matthews and Lee going early, all fast-scoring batsmen. That was blown to New South Wales. So Cheekwee will be the one they'll be looking to now to bat right through the innings, if at all possible.
Oh.
the support will need to come from Robertson, Bayliss and McNamara. 3 for 103.
Volatile warfares.
None of my men.
Which is the bowler. That's a nice shot. Won't go for 4. The outfield for both teams has been trifle on the slow side. Too sure that's precisely what Prestwich wanted with the return from the outfield.
Nice straight drive from Kevin Roberts. Hit where it deserved to be. Pitched up, straight ball, driven straight back. But certainly no joy there for Prestwich with that return coming in. That's a better delivery from Scott Prestwich. A little bit of movement away and beating the outside edge. Excellent length.
Short of the man in there at short cover. Stuart Law has kept his fieldsman in. Still has 5 inside the circle.
Just a slightly slower delivery that from Prestwich. He's got a very good slow ball and hard to pick. Just escaping the outstretched arms. Short cover fieldsman Law. New South Wales run rate required edging up towards 6 and over, which is run a ball.
That's beautifully fielded. 3 for 106.
Family problems? This'll help. The Pizza Haven Family Saver Meal Deal.
Queensland just ahead the comparative score. Had 2 off-spinners bowling for the Queenslanders. Stuart Law has used, first of all, Jeff Foley and then Andrew Simons. Lots of good sport coming up on Nine's Wide World of Sports. These cricket matches, and the football begins shortly with the footy show. It returns nationally on Thursday night. Just check your local guides for that. It's a big show, very enjoyable. Just a single there to Kevin Roberts. And in addition to the footy show coming back to Channel 9, then on Saturday, Wide World of Sports with Ken Sutcliffe and Max Walker returns. And that is a double bonus. The footy show and the Wide World of Sports. And we have the Mercantile Mutual final coming up as well.
Very dangerous man, Andrew Simons, when he's bowling. He's worth another fieldsman as well. Look at the ground he covers here and looks to affect a run out. Spot on throw back to keeper second.
That's the one for the stumping. where the bowler is attempting to have the batsman stumped on the leg side and takes the risk of the wide, and it's 3 for 108.
Comparison just favouring Queensland slightly more now. It's been neck and neck for ages through the overs, but Queensland edging ahead. For this partnership at the moment, Chee and Roberts re-establishing the New South Wales innings, and Chee edging towards a half century, batting very, very well.
That'll be a wide call. Well, Prestwich looks disappointed.
I don't think you can really complain about the umpire's decision there, Richie. It's a wide in anyone's books.
That run graph shows that Queensland are on a steady course all the way through to their final total, and New South Wales just dropped a little bit behind now. That's good stroke. Stuart Law with the 5 men in the fielding circle might be forced to move one of them out now, play a deep point.
Good example of a square cut, that by Richard Chee. Crossed to the ball and kept his weight on his back foot and his weight with his shot, his head over his shot. It was a very well executed square cut. Hitting down on the ball, rolled the wrists.
.50 to Richard Chee, and a good innings. He's played his strokes and he's played them with great common sense. Word of congratulations there from Emery and Roberts, and to tell him just to keep his head. He scored 50 from 74 balls without going berserk. Looking for 2.
At this point, it has been perhaps a little subdued by some of the Richard Chee innings of old. He's got a big job to do for his team. He's still out there.
That won't go to the boundary. It's very slow in the outfield in that particular area and on that side of the ground, the eastern side of the ground here at the Gabba. That's the area just there, talking about, where it's quite slow. That's good over for New South Wales, 11 from it.
Lights. Camera.
22 from 32 balls for Roberts, and Chee 50 from 74.
Oh.
A neat placement. Beat the man at third man. We'll get 2 for it from a very clever little stroke. Just angling the bat so the ball ran off the face of it. By no means an edge.
Guided it through back with point. Totally in control of the shot and found the gap.
Be kicking himself for that. There's only one man in a 100-yard area. They're patrolling the boundary on the onside, and he's hit it absolutely spot on to him.
That's a 50 partnership. Emery and Robertson, Richard Chee. Greg Matthews, of course, wants to see a lot more than 50 out of them, but at this stage, they're going along nicely.
Working here, Simo.
Easy single down to long on there from Roberts. He seems to be quite confident all around the field, Kevin Roberts. We've seen in the last few overs a good square cut, a pull shot, straight drive and on drive, and that guide through backward point. Leg byes there. Attempted sweep. Failed to connect.
That's the single, 3 for 126.
8:30 tonight.
What the hell did you think you were doing?
And still ahead on the comparative score after 26 overs, but New South Wales in touching distance. Just a question of whether or not their batting strength is as good as that of Queensland. Queensland had Stuart Law and Foley, who were able to share a big partnership. That's why this one for New South Wales is so important. It's over the half-century mark so far.
Having just given Kevin Roberts a wrap last over, that didn't exactly go where he had planned. Credit to the bowler there. Came into the batsman off the pitch, probably an off cutter, I would think, and Roberts playing out at the line of the ball opened up a gap and played the legendary French cut to find leg for one.
There's a little bit of extra bounce there. One of the things that comes into a situation of this kind is the heat and general situation out in the field. Can the batsmen contain their concentration and not worry too much about the heat? Are they able to overcome that? It just seems to me that Richard Chee at the moment is starting to look a bit weary. It's not at all easy because temperature around about 28, 29 degrees and a lot of quick singles, more than you might take in a 4-day game, can take it out of you.
Kevin Roberts now to double figures for games played. Has got 100 to his name. One-day competitions. That's his highest score, in fact, 101 against South Australia. But averaging 34.33, strike rate 61.7. Long way short of the glorious figures of Stuart Law's, but there's not too many Stuart Law's around. Kevin Roberts at the moment in the midst of improving those figures.
That's well fielded. Certainly saved 2 runs, might even have been hit well enough to have gone to the boundary. Rackerman was talking about Stuart Law's performance with the bat. Well, he was the man fielding there. He's very good in any position, and with the bat he made 93 from 98 balls. It was a lovely innings. Shaped a possible victory for Queensland, and Foley made 66 from 102. Gone. Richard Chee has gone, and Prestwich has got him with a ball that looked as though it was angled in from outside off stump. It may have found an inside edge, or it may have gone straight onto the stumps. But that is a vital breakthrough for the Queenslanders, just what they needed, the breaking of that partnership.
That ball just angled in on leg stump, but Richard Chee perhaps trying to hit too far across the line of the ball. And as Richie had said, he's starting to look a little tired. I don't know if I'd like you reading my fortune, Richie. You just about nominated that. But New South Wales could well have done without losing Richard Chee. He's been the backbone of their innings to date. Now the score is 4 for 129.
For 133 now. New South Wales just dropping a little bit behind there. 28 runs still. LBW. Bayliss has been given. Prestwich has got 2. And New South Wales now deep in trouble. Ball that darted back at Bayliss quite sharply. And here's LBW. 5 for 133.
His delivery struck Bayliss on the front foot, but he wasn't all that far forward. And umpire Steve Randall didn't have to think about that for terribly long. And that's put New South Wales into all sorts of trouble at 533, still with a long way to go.
By now, you know.
But it's played by McNamara. Wickets with successive balls for Scott Prestwich. 1 Richard Chee and then Trevor Bayliss. This is the first. Chee's dismissal. Just flicking the back pad and then onto the stumps. And then with the first ball of his next over, Bayliss LBW.
It's a good comeback for Scott Prestwich. Not long ago, he went for 11 runs in an over. Would have upset him and certainly upset captain Stuart Law. He's come back with 2 wickets for his captain and really turned the game in Queensland's favour.
No slip and no gully. Quite safe there for McNamara. Fielded again by Law. They get a single, but it was an awkward bounce for him.
It's firmly driven and bounced up just off the edge of the wicket block. And straight in the ribs, I would suggest. A couple of deep breaths, Stewie.
That's well bowled again by Prestwich. It's 5 for 135.
In tonight's edition of National 9 News,
Bowl. And New South Wales 5 for 135 now, in trouble against 3 for 146 at the same time for Queensland. First ball of the Simons over. And they'll just take a single out there. No chance of a second with the long on coming in. We're going to take it out of Warwick Farm for race 6. It's the Chipping Norton Stakes, and here's Ken.
There to octagonal and an excellent ride to Shane Dye. They'll be cheering him when he comes back to the stand area. Phil Emery is out in the centre now here at the Gabba, and New South Wales have lost their 6th wicket. And facing an uphill battle at the moment. The wicket to fall was that of Brad McNamara. A good piece of bowling by Brendan Greavy. His first ball in this new spell just held it back a little bit. The off-spinning action, and Brad McNamara not choosing to keep the ball on the ground or go over the top and simply just chip the ball straight down the throat of Scott Prestwich, who was at mid-on. And the easiest of wickets. Prestwich is happy. They knew that McNamara was the danger man. And at 6 for 137. The Blues in all sorts of trouble.
What?
Wickets are the key to everything in one-day matches, and at the moment, with only 4 in hand, New South Wales now face a run rate required of 6.73. And from this position, it will be a very, very good victory for sure. Phil Emery and Kevin Roberts Both are possible of pulling it off, but they'll play an innings of their careers. Good over from Creevy. It was a wicket maiden. 6 for 137.
Why pay more for rugs? Pay less for carpet's huge $1 million rug and
For 137. 31 overs have gone. Roberts on 33 and Emery yet to score. Andrew Symonds continuing from the Stanley Street end. And a lot of happy punters around Australia. With the dividends from Warwick Farm race 6, the winner number 3 Octagonal 470 and 220 for the place. What a win it was by Octagonal. An excellent ride by Shane Dye. I had a few little dollars on number 1 Juggler and paid $1.10 for the place. There were no dividends for the 3rd place. Number 2 Dupain. So race 6 Warwick Farm, the winner number 3 Octagonal. It was New South Wales dividends 470 and 220.
Yeah, you're about right there.
Symonds to continue from the Stanley Street end and now coming around the wicket to Phil Emery. It's a big assignment, Kerry O'Keefe.
Very big, but there's still hope there. Kevin Roberts is one of the most mature of batsmen. He's still relatively young, but this season's been a good one for him. He's shown signs of improvement in all areas of his game. And if he could go on and get 100 and support from Emery and the others, then New South Wales still hold out some sort of hope. Because it's a very good batting wicket. Lots of 30-year-old pluses to come, though. Emery's at the crease, over 30. Robertson over 30. Jones over 30. Experienced players win your cricket matches, the big ones anyway. And they're going to have to do that if the Blues are going to get over the line this afternoon. There's nothing frightening about this spin attack. Andrew Symonds is very much an occasional bowler. So they can just build it slowly and go crash, bang, wallop at the end. And they're into the final. Run rate still under 7, the run rate required. Got to keep it there, and that wide will help.
So apart from that quicker delivery there, Andrew Symonds is giving the ball a lot of air, trying to entice the batsman to have a go at things.
Oh, yeah.
Another faster ball, and encouragement there from the wicketkeeper Wade Seckham. Very well bowled, just going straight on with the arm. Again, the quicker one. 4 runs off the over, 6 for 141.
Here's what all cricket fans and collectors have been waiting for. The Australian Test Series video collection. Australia versus India 80-81, West Indies 92-93 and England 94-95. Now you can enjoy the finest moments in Australian Test cricket at home, anytime. All the drama, all the highlights, all the action with some of the greatest cricketers of all time. The Australian Test Series videos. Collect them all today.
Brendan Creevy is about to begin his 6th over. He has 1 for 19 off just 5 overs. A good performance from him. He's a bowler that Queensland have elevated this summer, and he really has taken up the challenge. Been a good performance by the Queenslanders. Dale has been a little expensive, but has picked up 2 wickets. A wicket to Michael Kasperwitz, 6 overs, 1 for 20, and 2 wickets to Scott Prestwich, who has been a good performer in this limited overs competition. 2 for 21 off 5. In the air, but safe. Barsby is the man at deep cover. He is a very, very sweet timer of the ball, is Kevin Roberts. .36 from 50 deliveries. That's a good strike rate too.
He's a fellow who's going to play for New South Wales for a long time, seen as a future captain as well. And how much a feather in his cap would it be if he was to be there when the winning runs were struck? It's a very tall order for him, as we can see. The graph suggesting that Blues are off the pace, and those three wickets haven't helped.
So those 3 wickets there, you just see it tailing off in this section. They need it to go up. And that's the way to get things going up with a cover drive such as that. That's a magnificent stroke, and that'll go all the way to the boundary. So Phil Emery still going to take up the challenge. He'll want a few more of these, but it must give his side a lot of confidence to see this sort of stroke.
He's a good timer of the ball, and Creevy's bowled one in the slot. He knew the man was square on the point boundary, and he's deliberately got it through cover as straight as he can get it. Good placement from him. The cry from Simons was yours. Deep point had a long way to go. 5 from 11.
That's in the air, but smashed very, very hard once again. It's Michael Kasperwitz now at deep point for the left-hander. So you get the feeling that the Blues are going to continue to play their strokes. They've got to, because as the overs continue, 32 overs have been bowled to date. As the overs continue, you'll see the run rate required climb and climb sharply. Another superb piece of timing. Jimmy Marr will cut it off inside the boundary, but 2 more to Roberts. That's what I like about Kevin Roberts and his batting. He doesn't try and hit the ball too hard. He's very conscious of where he places the ball, but his timing is such that whenever he gets it to the gap, he's going to score runs, and many from the stroke because of that sweet timing. No was the call, and then yes, and they make it comfortably through. 8 from the over, a good one for the Blues. 6 for 149.
I'm Winks the cat, bedroom expert. It's Wink and Save Week at 40 Winks. Save $300 on these beautiful bedroom suites. Truly $300 off. You won't need your purse, nothing to pay until next August, and interest-free. Save on timber and iron beds, kids' beds, and bedding too. Same deal. Pay nothing until next August and interest-free. Savings easy as winking at 40 Winks and interest-free.
After 33 overs, in fact, New South Wales have brought up their 150 now. 6 for 150, 39 to Roberts, and 6 to Phil Emery. Queensland made 265. Oh, that was a gift, but you've got to put them away. Won't find the boundary. Andrew Simons throwing the ball a long way in the air, but Kevin Roberts picked it and got on the back foot. Crowd here for the match, the first of the Mercantile Mutual semi-finals, 3,202. And many of them enjoying the cricket today. One in particular, Kelly Clibby. Yes, Kelly Clibby, 18 years of age. She's captain of the under-19 Redcliffe Sandgate Women's Cricket Club. She'll be an extremely happy fan when she leaves the ground today, because she's $900 richer. And that was as a result of a very good catch taken when Stuart Law struck a 6 straight down the ground. She had interference, but as every good young cricketer should do, she kept her eye on the ball and took the catch. That's her in the centre of your screen there with the white hat on and blue sunglasses. Very happy young lady. There she is right there. She's the one with the big bulge in her pocket. And it's full of money. 5 off the over, 6 for 154.
Did you get the lamp here? Yes. Ready yet?
155, the same time Queensland 3 for 173. And a change now from the members' end. Michael Kasperwich will replace Brendan Creevy. Kelly Cleavey just sitting there, just waiting for another opportunity to put some money in her pocket. But this was how she did it this morning. A magnificent stroke from Stuart Law off the bowling of Brad McNamara. Really got a good piece of it. And just watch the young girl, Kelly. Interference from the man in the white singlet, not a problem. And was she happy? She knew she had some money in her pocket. Well done.
Yeah.
Just a single down to third man, and Kelly, in fact, played for the Queensland in the under-19 softball division. She plays softball for the Caboolture Club. Well done to her. The catch the 6, it's now worth $100. Well, jackpot by $100 per match. The opportunity to win some money in the races will very shortly be crossing to Caulfield for race 7. But here's again is Ken Callender to give us all the information on the tote.
Yeah, thank you very much, Greg. And the race is the Carlion Cup, and TAB number 1 is a horse we all know, and that is Doremus. Doremus
162, and Peep on the show. Peep on the Sly winning that race there. A very good ride by Mick Dittman, and plenty of action coming away in the racing show. It returns tomorrow with Simon O'Donnell, Ken Callender, and of course John Tapp. All the news and reviews of the big autumn carnivals, and some great racing this afternoon. So the racing show off and running tomorrow. Check your local guides. Meanwhile, back here at the Gabba, Stuart Law is going to be off and running shortly. He's made a bowling change and introduced himself into the attack. That's the situation at the moment. New South Wales 6 for 162. Roberts on 44 from 60 deliveries has played very, very well indeed, and getting good support at the moment from Phil Emery, the New South Wales captain. Former captain and wicketkeeper. He's on 12 from 16 deliveries faced.
Stuart Law's worked pretty well today. The feature of Queensland, whenever they defend any sort of total, is a discipline in their bowling. And this man at the helm, the field placements always complement their attack. He feels he has runs to play with, and you would have to think he has. New South Wales uphill from here, only 4 wickets remaining. They need 103 from 89. It's a stiff ask, but Emery has half centuries to his credit in Sheffield Shield cricket. Roberts is a developing talent. Robertson's in next. He can hold a bat. Everything resting on this partnership, though, you'd think.
Oh, yeah.
And dividends from race 7 at Caulfield. Number 3, Peep on the Sly, paid $4 and $1.90. The 12, Miss Tesla, $2.20. And number 8, Waikika Mukau, $5.20. The Victorian dividends. Stuart Law is a very handy bowler of leg spin. looks like he may have some difficulty reading him at the moment. He's best bowling 4 for 33 against Western Australia here at the Gabba in 93-94. That would have been with medium paces.
Oh, yes.
In the air, but safe. Trevor Barsby is the fieldsman.
Good flight here. The over spinner, perhaps even a wrong in there. I think Emery read it. Done by the flight. He took on extra cover and got it over his head. New South Wales gambled today. They dropped Corey Richards, who's got most runs for them in this competition, and played the extra bowler. As it's happened, they're going to they may be a batsman short in this chase. They've got the wicket keeper at 8 and Roberts at 5, having to do it all for them. The extra batter may have come in handy.
Oh.
Hindsight always has 20/20 vision. It's 6 for 166.
Here's what all cricket fans and collectors have been waiting for. The Australian Test Series video collection. Australia...
It's at the same time. Queensland were 3 for 184. In the air and missed. And it's gone all the way to the boundary to add injury to insult. Insult to injury, in fact.
Kasprowicz gets the outside edge here. He's got the thickest edge in the game, Phil Emery. God, he can slide them past gully. On this occasion, he'd slid it past the wide slip at catchable height. Law went as far as he could, but it's an each-way bet. He's at 2.5 slip there, the captain, where it was a second slip catch.
Stuart Law's got good hands in the slips cordon, 33 catches. That's where Phil Emery is very, very strong. Square of the wicket. Whilst ever he and Roberts are at the wicket, as Kerry O'Keefe mentioned, New South Wales are certainly in with a chance. That run rate required will start to climb as we move into the latter stages of the innings. It's just a little over 7 at the moment. And the current run rate just a little over 4.5. 81 from 95.
Just off the pace, the Blues. Those 3 wickets really cost them at one stage. In the ball game in a big way. Plenty of catch-up to be done, but Roberts is looking good. Emery's as safe as a bank at the moment. Not out of it, the visitors. But they're up against a quality bowling team. Really impressed with Dale and Kasprowicz. Their work with the seam today has been outstanding. Dale swung it. Nobody's swung it really throughout the game. It's been a very clear day here in Brisbane, yet Adam Dale jagged it in with his wrist and yet made it leave the bat as well. Australian selectors will look at this guy. His numbers are good in every game he plays. Kasprowicz has done well again. It's 6 for 172.
Things in life are free.
Gone. Stuart Law to continue from Stanley Street end. Just a single. Leg by signalled, and now in the commentary position, Richie Bano, and with him, Ian Chappell.
Thanks, Greg. Good partnership building here between Kevin Roberts and Phil Emery, but New South Wales needed 6 for 137. They were in deep trouble. It was when McNamara was dismissed. He's placed the ball pretty well, Phil Emery. On that occasion, he got it into the gap in the outfield. But Michael Kasprowicz there. Big man with a strong arm. Also a very good athlete, Michael Kasprowicz.
Oh, yeah. In the air.
Pretty good in the field, Queensland. They do well in the infield. They've got specialists like Andrew Simons, who hits the stumps regularly in that infield position, and good outfielders. Placement going straight over the top of Simon's head.
His leg spinning from Stuart Law is another part of his cricket armoury. Can bowl medium pace and bowl leg spin as well, as we saw in the World Cup, and is an outstanding batsman.
New South Wales 6 for 178.
Gillette presents another great moment in Nine's
24 from 28 deliveries. He's played well. Emery and Robertson on 47. He's faced 66 deliveries. New South Wales with a lot of work to do if they're to make this final. Brendan Creevy now being brought back on at the Vulture Street end. He's already bowled 6 overs. His figure's 1 for 28.
Listening to Carl Rackerman talk about Brendan Creevy a little earlier, he's mentioning that he quite often bowls well, but in his early time, when they were looking at him as a prospect, he would also quite often bowl in ordinary fashion. Consistency seems to be the big improvement in his game.
And once again, Phil Emery finds the gap. He's hit the ball in the air a few times, but his placement has been excellent so far. Done it again. Long chase, and it'll be in vain. Nice timing from Phil Emery.
When the New South Wales side look at the comparative scores round about this time, you'll see that the loss of the wickets is the thing. They're up round about the same figure for runs.
That's what New South Wales need to do. 82 from 69 at a rate of just over 7. Scott Prestwich being pushed back now to the extra cover boundary. This time it finishes up at third man. New South Wales moving along to 6 for 185. It's time now for race 7 from Warwick Farm, the Liverpool City Cup. as we cross to Kenny Callender. It's the racing program for today here at the Gabba. New South Wales 7 for 189. Emery and Robertson is the new batsman out, and New South Wales have lost Kevin Roberts. He was out with his score at 47.
Well, that's the way it happened. Kevin Roberts' right hand came off the bat, and Matthew Mott was the man coming around, taking a neat catch, looking into the sun.
Once again, Phil Emery getting the ball into the gaps. Slows up considerably when it gets out near the rope. Emery scoring at a very good rate. Kevin Roberts attempting to hit the ball square. As Richie mentioned, the hand came off the bat, which meant that it wasn't timed as well as he would like. Matthew Mott probably found those sunglasses quite handy on that occasion. Looking right into the sun, it was a good catch.
Warwick Farm race 7, the New South Wales dividends, number 14 Accomplice 520 and 210, number 6 Celestial Choir 340, and number 7 Montana Sands 570. Money there for the taking, and for here at the Gabba it is Queensland who look as though they're going to move into the final. They're on top of New South Wales at the moment. Second semi-final is being played tomorrow at the Wacker ground in Perth, Western Australia, Victoria. So what's happening tomorrow across at the Wacker? Western Warriors against Victorian Bushrangers, and the winner of that game will meet the winner of today's game here at the Gabba.
I guess one of the problems that might come up for Queensland if they make the final, and it looks fairly sure that they will now, Australian selectors could have the job of replacing Paul Rifle if this hamstring injury of his is as bad as is being suggested, and particularly as he's had trouble there before with the hamstring. And it could be Michael Kasprowicz who gets the call up. Seven for 193.
I've got some good news and some very good news.
Further behind Queensland at the same rate, that's after 41 overs. Robertson 3 and Emery 35 from 35 balls is playing a dashing hand. Ian Chappell was talking about a possible replacement for Paul Rifle if one's needed. Michael Kasprowicz, man who might go over. But it does raise a bit of a point, Ian, with the Ashes battle coming up. England just having taken a series from New Zealand, and competitive Ashes series in view. Robertson was the batsman there. Stuart Law is the bowler.
Once again, the deflection almost going onto the stumps, just misses the stumps. Phil Emery on that occasion was also stranded if it had hit.
Yes, it does raise a point and a challenge for the Australian selectors, which they might not have expected earlier in the summer, that there are not all that many fit pace bowlers around. McDermott is retired. He was a fine bowler for Australia. Stewart, the New South Wales paceman who made a good impression earlier, has an ankle problem.
Oh, no.
And we now have Rifle with a recurrence of a hamstring strain. Gillespie has been injured and is back on the paddock now in South Africa. Kaspavic is not quite there by default, but there are not many others who are fully fit.
Yes, Roy.
With the Ashes battle coming up, I'd suggest that it's a challenge for the selectors to look ahead and try to find some young pacemen. Seven for 196.
I'll take it.
Sunday.
Idiot.
Eat my short.
For fifth.
Chasing 266 for victory. The 70 required of 48 balls with just 3 wickets in hand. It's going to be Scott Prestwidge now at the Vulture Street end. Yes, the Australian selectors, if they do decide they need a replacement for Paul Rifle, they may not call on Kaspavic straight away. They may allow him to play in the final. The test match, the first test match, will be starting on the 28th in South Africa. So it would be doubtful if Kaspavic would play in that one, because you've got Gillespie and Bickle, who are already over there to go with Glenn McGrath. So there would be 3 quickies. They wouldn't want any more than that in the first test match side. So they may allow, if they need a replacement, they may allow Kaspavic to play in the final and then go to South Africa. The interesting little exercise.
The shout there was for the ball hitting the pad first and then going on to the bat. It was signal leg by from umpire Randall at the Vulture Street end.
Called a wide. No. Randall saying that was a borderline one. That's what Phil Emery has done extremely well all afternoon with the bat. He's hit the ball into the gaps in the outfield, and that's why his strike rate is so good.
That is 200 for New South Wales. 7 for 200.
Three brings up the 200 for New South Wales. But they've lost 7 wickets in getting there. Just the tail enders to support Phil Emery. Seven for 200.
Graphite gives you the chance to get noticed.
3 overs. New South Wales 7 for 200. Stuart Law continuing with his leg spin. We're at the semi-final stage of the cricket season, and that means that football is not far away. Commencing with Monday night football on the 3rd of March on Wide World of Sports, that match from the Sydney Football Stadium. The Cronulla Sharks versus the Canberra Raiders is the first of the Monday night football games coming from the stadium. So 3rd of March, we're into the Monday night football. Prestwich in the deep. Good throw here, and he's in trouble. Umpire Randall calling for the replay. Wade Seckham did pretty well. He got back to the stumps quickly.
Very good flat arm. It's on slightly his wrong side. He's had to do a half turn to get back. There's a hesitation just on the right-hand side of your picture there. Well, we'll probably need to see a second shot of that. It looked as though it could have been out, but whether it was out, we're not quite certain, as the wicket-keeper slightly obscured the batsman's bat. We think he's out, but are we sure? Bale's not off. It is now. But Bale, well, this will tell us. Now it's the wicket-keeper's cap. Now the bat's still obscured. Bale's not off. I feel for the umpire there that I reckon everyone that sees that will be of the opinion that Robertson was almost certainly out. There's that little bit of doubt because of the whole thing being obscured, which would be solved if we had cameras, 4 of them, that point and square leg on either side. And the ACB no doubt will be thinking about that for next year.
That one's thumped pretty hard. Stuart Law's already stopped 3 or 4 straight drives from Gavin Robertson. On that occasion, just blasted it straight past him. He's inviting the drive from Gavin Robertson. Quite happy to have the tail ender coming out of his crease. I think he's got that one away from Kaspovic in the outfield and crosses the rope. Phil Emery hasn't given up hope. It's 7 for 210.
These super specials at Sleep City. Futon sofa beds now.
56 off 36 balls. Only hope is Phil Emery. And he's got a very good strike rate at the moment. 107 his strike rate. 44 from 41. So he's got to get as much strike as possible if the Blues are to win this match. Just short of mid-on.
The times I've watched Phil Emery bat, I reckon he'd be something of a nightmare to bowl to. He plays with an angle bat a lot of the time, and he is a very good placer of the ball. Quite deliberately hits the ball in the air into the outfield, but picks his mark. I would reckon that he chooses his spot even before the ball is bowled.
Actually, it was this pair that played very good partnership for Australia A at the Adelaide Oval against Australia. It looked as though they were going to take them to victory at one stage, but in the end, Australian A batting just crumbled. But this pair obviously like batting together, have a good understanding. Robertson just seems to push the singles and let Emery hit the boundaries. Ball pitching outside leg stump, which immediately ends any hope of it being LBW. Roberts, nearly taken. It would have been a terrific catch. Jimmy Ma coming across there, just got the outstretched hand to it, but couldn't hang on to it.
Would have been a wonderful catch if Jimmy Ma had clung onto it. Bit out of character for Robertson. He's been pushing the singles, and Emery wouldn't have been too pleased to see it going in the air like that. Robertson's the pusher of the singles and the twos, and Emery is the slicer and slasher. Seven for 215.
Here's what all cricket fans and
off 30 balls. It's going to be Gavin Robertson on strike again, and in the commentary position now will be Greg Ritchie with Kerry O'Keefe.
Thanks very much, Ian. Adam Dale being introduced back into the attack. Stuart Law has taken himself off, and there'll be just some concern in the Queensland camp at the moment that things are getting away from them. The run rate required is the run rate required has gone up to 10, so Queenslanders will be happy about that. But these two are batting well. Robertson and Emery. Robertson placing the ball well, running the ones and twos. Phil Emery finding the boundary. Kerry O'Keefe, whilst ever these two are at the crease, New South Wales are in with a big show.
And the next man in has a capacity to hit sixes, Wayne Holsworth, so it's not all over by any stretch of the imagination. Because although these two aren't big six hitters, Holsworth does clear the boundary, and Jones has a capacity to hit the ball over the top. Could get down to the wire here.
That's good bowling from Adam Dale. The place to bowl at this stage is right up in the block hole at the stumps. Even full tosses such as that are very, very difficult to dispatch anywhere in the air. So Adam Dale showing his experience there, keeping the ball full and not allowing the batsman any room. Just a single. Matthew Mott is deep backward square.
Emery's done well, 45 from 44. Matthews elevated himself to 3 and got 17, but the vital wicket was Lee there at 4, out for 3. Bayliss out early. The old hands failed there. McNamara out for 2, and it fell to the wicket keeper and the off spinner, and they've done a job. 2 slogging fast bowlers to come. Run rate escalating, but Blues not without some hope.
Smashed, but straight to the field. And that run rate required, you can see in these final overs, just we were talking about it before, just how steeply the run rate required goes. It's now 11 and over, and that is a big ask with only 3 wickets in hand.
I think Emery's aiming to go square of the wicket, but Dale keeps bowling full tosses, so he's going to give him no length to work with. He wants to get under one, the batsman, Phil Emery. Dale's just bowling them flat and full at him.
Well, he gets away with it. Can you believe it? 7 for 218. Of 48 runs required from just 24 balls remaining. Scott Prestwich will continue from the members' end. And he is bowling to Gavin Robertson, who is on 16, having faced just 27 deliveries. He's got to have a look at the outfield, Robertson. Pick his mark where he wants to hit 4 and really have it in his mind, and if the ball is anywhere near where he can hit it there, he's got to go for it. He did, and just got an inside edge down to fine leg. They really do need boundaries at this stage.
Prestwich is going to try slower balls here against this pair, and that's probably a good move. Give them absolutely no pace to work with and make them do all the heaving. So neither are big hitters. He has a very spread field. And this is skillful stuff if he can do it. And I think he's going to gamble on the slower stuff, Scott Prestwich.
Well, that's where the gap was. There's no one out that area over mid-wicket. It's going to be cut off inside the boundary and kept down to 2. Bill Emery has it in his mind that there's an area straight over the top of long on where the field is still up in the circle. There's a man at deep square, just in front of square, but this area out here, out through here, hit over the top, straight down over long on, can bring a boundary.
Yes.
Just a single. Kaspovic is down at long off, very well fielded, and with that single, Phil Emery brings up his highest score in limited overs cricket. He now moves on to 48 from just 49 balls faced. It's been a very, very good innings from him.
And he's feeling the pinch. Neither of these two are all that quick between the wickets, and just when you have to scurry and force the extra run, neither are really capable. Emery's called for a drink. Feeling the heat. The temperature's been in the high 20s all day. A couple of veterans doing their best.
And every dot ball is important from Queensland's point of view. The run rate is going up just about with every delivery. Every dot ball means it will climb, and as we continue, it'll climb quite steeply. 13.2 is the asking rate now. 6s and 4s are a must. That won't hurt the Queenslanders at all. They'll be quite happy to give away singles. In fact, Stuart Law would probably be giving his bowlers encouragement if only singles are scored. And again, a single, but in fact, no ball called by umpire Randall. That helps the situation. Stuart Law would have been happy with the delivery in terms of the run scored off it, but if this next one, the extra ball in the over, goes for a boundary, won't put a smile on his face at all. Big area over mid-wicket. That's where Robertson's looking for. Nine runs coming from the over. 7 for 227.
The biggest garden equipment sale is now on. Still
39 runs required. 13 is the asking rate. And 3 wickets in hand. Some changing of material. Quite hot out there. Phil Emery's getting a drink. He's been out there for quite a long period of time. 50 balls. He's had 29 scoring strokes, has hit 5 boundaries for his 49. And an excellent strike rate of 98. Five boundaries in the innings, and New South Wales need a lot more from him. 3 overs remaining. They've got to throw caution to the wind now and find the fence. That's a good shot. That is hit very, very hard, and that's 4 runs. That's an excellent stroke. Gavin Robertson picking up a delivery which wasn't all that loose, pretty straight, but hitting with the line of the delivery, smashed it for 4.
Gavin Robertson, he's gone back to a full delivery, but he's picked out where he wanted to hit it and hit it in the screws. 35 from 17.
If he hits, he's in trouble, and he misses. Goodness me.
Both batsmen are feeling the pinch between the wickets. Emery wasn't coming, then he was. And out by a fair way if Seckham had found the stumps. Luck going a little bit New South Wales' way, but they need plenty of it.
Got him. Very, very well bowled from Dale. He kept it pitched up. That's what he had to do. There was always a big assignment for Phil Emery to try and find boundaries off those deliveries. An excellent innings from him, but he falls just 1 short of his half-century with the bowling of Adam Dale.
Adam Dale is always the testing material in these domestic one-dayers. He, at the start of the innings and late, their full delivery on off stump. He cramped Emery. Emery looking to go square of the wicket. And Adam Dale has done it again. What a performer. Phil Emery, class act, 49 from 51, 8 down for 232.
On a current affair, armed and dangerous.
Emery, 27 matches to his credit, a higher score of 49, and as Kerry O'Keefe pointed out before, he's a man with the ability to hit sixes, and that's what's required at the moment.
Adam Dale, always there, and an inside edge onto off stump. Hasn't he done a job for Queensland? And again, with a full delivery, he knows he can't give Wayne Holsworth any leverage, so he's just going to bowl full and flat at the base of his stumps. Dale's up to 4 in the most bowl, $5,000 if you can get to the top of that by the end of the competition. He only has a few balls to go, 6 potentially, to get in front of McNamara.
Oh, that was very, very nearly the one that put him on the top of the order. You've got a feel for Wayne Holsworth in this situation. He's got to go for everything. Just getting on the inside of that, looking to hit it actually out over cover, which is not a bad tactic. There's big spaces out there. But Adam Dale very nearly finding the stumps once again. And again, 8 for 232. ...34 runs, 12 balls remaining, just 2 overs. Scott Prestwich is going to bowl one of them from the members' end. Holdsworth is out in the centre. He has joined Gavin Robertson, who is on 24, in desperate situations. He's got a hold of that. That's going to be 6 bits. No, just inside. And not all that far away from the Mercantile Mutual side.
He's a born-again batsman, this fellow, Gavin Robertson. on the back foot to a full delivery. He's looking for that sign, and how close was that to 200 large? And he was in the frame. Holsworth knew. He was doing some quick sums, Wayne Holsworth.
Trying to calculate what one match constitutes in terms of $200,000 shared between 14 fellows. Work that out. Good batting from Robertson. Holdsworth on strike now himself. He needs to hit some over the fence. In the air, over the top. Won't go to the boundary. Loses his hat in the process, but not his wicket. 2 more to the score. 239.
Now, Holsworth's a big chance for the sign here because Prestwich is going to bowl him slower balls and bowl them full. He's a good full hitter, Wayne Holsworth. This could be an interesting couple of balls.
Along the ground, it's going to be close, could be out. There's going to be not out. Well, it is all happening out there at the moment. I think Scott Prestwich may have broken the stumps with his leg here. Good piece of fielding. Wasn't a hard throw. Just keep an eye on his foot, and there. Now the bail was off, and a gallant dive into the crease. Safe. They've got to look for 2. They've got to go for 2. No choice. And they'll make it comfortably. Ten runs off the over today. 1 ball remaining.
Well, this has got to go to the boundary or over the top, Gavin Robertson. So 18 off the final over is feasible. Anything more, and you wouldn't think. This must find the rope.
It won't. It's going to be cut off down at third man. Trevor Barsby is down there. 11 off the over. 8 for 243.
The world has a new currency called information.
It's the stuff that heroes are made of. 23 runs off 6 balls remaining. Time for some high balls. Time to airmail a few. Adam Dale, the bowler. It's well bowled, but it's just going to be a single down too long off. The assignment is very tough. Adam Dale's doing the right thing here. He's keeping the ball very full, not worrying about bowling full tosses, angling in at the batsman's pads. Very, very difficult to hit them for 6. In fact, just about impossible. 22 from just 5 balls remaining. Got him! Clean bowled, and that'll take him to the top of the list. And the bowler with the most batsmen bowled, Wayne Holdsworth, loses the off stump. Adam Dale gets the 9th wicket for the Bulls. Clean bowling, Wayne Holdsworth.
How long was Adam Dale in Melbourne club cricket when he has a capacity to bowl with this sort of skill? Spent a long time in Victoria, has come to Queensland, and is just the business every game the Bulls play. That's his 4th wicket for the innings. He could get 5. Holsworth is on his way. He tried hard. It's 9 for 244.
Use the American Express card at any Flag property between February and April, and you could win one of 20 holidays for 2 to Club Crocodile Long Island Resort in the Whitsundays flying Qantas. Call Flag for details on 132400. That's 132400.
We take the flag.
Neil Jones is making his way out into the centre. The fall of the 9th wicket for New South Wales. A beautiful piece of bowling once again by Adam Dale. Holdsworth had to go for it. He's looked for the area over cover, but it's a case of if he misses, Adam Dale hits, and the off stump out of the ground. That's along the ground. That could go all the way to the boundary. Creevy is chasing it and will cut it off inside. So almost an impossible situation now for New South Wales. Maybe a no ball can help, but unless they get one, it's gone. Adam Dale, the top of the list, most bowled. No problem, trying to win the match. Stuart Law.
Well, normally in this situation you say a prayer to St Jude, the hope of the hopeless. And that's what I'd be doing. A couple of no balls they need now. And this would have been out. And that almost is. One delivery remaining. Blues need to hit it for 18. So the Bulls are home here. Dale has bowled brilliantly again. Top of the most bowled list. He'll be hard to beat in that because he has a final upcoming. Last ball of the semi-final.
And there'll be no run, so that completes the game. New South Wales finished their 50 overs, 9 for 248. That's in reply to Queensland making 265. It's been an excellent semi-final, the first of the Mercantile Mutual semi-final. And that's the way that the card looked for New South Wales. Slater made 14. Richard Chee batted particularly well, made 52 off 79 deliveries. Matthews elevated in the batting order to 3. Tried to do what was required and hit them over the top, scored 17 off 20, but unfortunately couldn't go on with it. And then Shane Lee was out for 3. Kevin Roberts batted particularly well in making 47. He certainly does look like a good player, Kerry O'Keefe.
He does, but nobody played a big innings there. They needed somebody to get 100. Chee with the half century, and Roberts and Emery did well, and Robertson at the end, but they needed somebody with 3 figures chasing 265. The Bulls, they were disciplined again with the ball. They backed themselves in the field. Stuart Law has a very good unit here. They're applauding their spectators, their supporters. They're into the final. They are the defending champions, and they exhibited plenty of that quality here today. Big total. Law and Foley laid the foundation, but their bowlers, Dale, Kasprowicz, again nailed the New South Wales coffin. Congratulations all round. Holdsworth bowled well himself. Matthews, he tried things. They didn't come off today, but he is an adventurous skipper. Batted 3 himself. Their campaign is over. They would have fancied themselves today, the Blues, because they had some momentum, but Queensland are hard to beat at home, particularly if Law fires up, and he did today. His 90-odd was an outstanding innings. Brad McNamara didn't have the best of matches. He's been in form, but couldn't fire up today. And the Blues bow out for 96-97. We'll be back after a break with Greg Ritchie.
In tonight's edition of National 9 News...
Police Commissioner at odds with the government over drug reform. Sydney suburbs strike Olympic gold, and the 6-year-old golfing sensation.
National 9 News with Sharon Godella tonight.
Introducing the great new range of Holden Rodeos.
Moved over. Umpire signalling, and over it goes. That's better.
Bob Jane T-Marts have hit tyre, wheel and battery payments for a 6 again. Pay nothing for not only 1 month or 2 months, 3, 4 or 5 months. You pay absolutely nothing for 6 whole months. No deposit, no charges, no interest at Bob Jane T-Marts. Hurry, only 1 week to go.
Atom Lawn Edger. Cuts neat, clean edges faster, quicker and easier. No carrying, no bending and easy to use in confined spaces. Atom Lawn Edger. Pick it up at your local lawnmower specialist or call Atom Lawn Edgers 1800 225 450.
Sensational sports shoes under $20. Men's sports shoes just $19. Boys' sports shoes just $19. Girls' sports shoes just $19. Ladies' sports shoes just $19. Sports shoes just $19. You can't beat speeds.
Where can you buy a magnificent...
And I think we pulled that one off. Everything turned up to 11. It's a record that has hips.
Semi-finals in the Mercantile Mutual Cup match here at the Gabba, with Queensland running over New South Wales, victory in the final over, and in what was a very good match and some good performances by both sides. Queensland won the toss this morning, and Stuart Law elected to bat. It was an excellent pitch, and they started off particularly well with Barsby and Ma, as they have done on many occasions in this limited overs competition, getting after the bowling, hitting the ball over the top. 26 to Barsby, 37 to Jimmy Ma, who was in excellent form once again. Just 41 deliveries he faced. He is stamping himself as a player of the future and certainly of higher representation. But Stuart Law, the Queensland captain, saw the need for a big innings and once again produced the goods. 93 from just 98 balls faced. An excellent innings from him. He played strokes to all parts of the ground and really has reminded the selectors once again that if they need him in South Africa for the one-day series, he's in very good form and ready to go. He got terrific support from Jeff Foley, who made 66. The pair put on 158, and in fact, that was a fourth wicket record partnership in domestic cricket in Australia, and one that steered Queensland to 5 for 265 in their 50 overs. Now, the bowling for New South Wales, they copped a little bit of stick early on. Holdsworth, 10 overs, no wicket for 44. A wicket to Jones, his first for New South Wales in any form of cricket, 1 for 44. Robertson bowled particularly well, 1 for 39. Lee, 2 wickets for 56 off his 10, and a wicket to McNamara. But it was always going to be a big task for New South Wales. 266 required for victory, and they made a good fist of it early on. Slater out for 14, disappointing for the crowd who wanted to see him score some runs. But Chee scored 52 from 79. A very, very good one-day player, Richard Chee. Hits the ball beautifully. 17 to Matthews, put himself up to number 3, but couldn't quite do the business. Shane Lee was out for 3. Roberts played beautifully, 47 from 68. 49 to Phil Emery, and he kept New South Wales in with a hope in a partnership with Gavin Robertson, who remained not out on 33. The two at one stage looked as if they may be able to get New South Wales close, but it wasn't to be. And in the end, it was Adam Dale who did the damage for the Queenslanders in a beautiful piece of bowling. 10 overs, 4 for 48, and he took himself to the top of the list of the most bowled, and there's $5,000 cash prize for that. Creevy picked up 2 wickets, 8 overs, 2 for 40, and another improved performance. He's a very good cricketer. 2 wickets to Prestwich, 2 for 48 off 9 overs, and Simons and Stuart Law also bowled very, very well. Now, down in the presentation area, Ian Chappell is with the 2 captains.
Thank you very much, Greg Ritchie. Well, we'll start off the presentation by calling upon the losing captain, Greg Matthews from New South Wales. Target just a bit too distant.
Bit too distant. Stewie and Mr. Foley, very important partnership, obviously set up the match for them.
Yeah. Although you guys gave it a pretty good chase, I guess the fact that no one went on and got a really big score was perhaps the killer?
Very expensive towards us, you know. I'd like to have my shot again. A few other guys would like to have their shot again, but, you know, the pleasing thing from my point of view is that we've progressed as the season's gone on. It's our biggest total of the season, and the guys fought hard down to the wire, and that's what we're trying to build at New South Wales this year.
Perhaps got a little bit carried away with the pinch hitting job, did you? It's a bit hard, I guess, when you start to hit a few boundaries, you want to keep it going.
Yes, I got on a bit of a roll. My position in the batting order has been very much as a floater. I haven't had a significant influence on any of the games with the bat this year, and I saw it as an opportunity. We needed a number 3. I could maybe push it round a bit. We wanted Richard to bat for the 40 overs and then have a bit of a dig, and I got on a bit of a roll. And I was conscious of going at Mr. Dale because he's a quality bowler in the one-day game, and he's served his team very well this season.
Good partnership from Phil Emery and Gavin Robertson. I seem to recall them having a pretty good partnership for Australia, eh? They seem to enjoy batting together.
Yeah, Phil is a very big fan of Gavin's. He likes keeping to him as well. He's had a very good one-day series for us. He's a bit unorthodox, you know. You never know where he's going. He can work the ball. He can strike a boundary. Yeah, he's a good player.
All right, now concentrate on the Shield. What's the news on Anthony Stewart with his injury?
Strong.
Yeah?
Very strong. We're hoping he'll definitely be up for the WA game, and he was more than... We were very confident he would have played in the final if we had won this game.
All right, well, good luck in the Shield then.
Thanks, Ian.
Okay, now we call upon the winning captain and the man who's taken his side into the final, Stuart Law. Very good victory.
Yeah, very good. The Bulls were the title holders of this competition, and we're playing like that at the moment.
The fielding is brilliant, both in the infield. You've got guys who can throw the stumps down, but outfielding also is excellent.
Yeah, we've got guys who can throw the ball in from the boundary, but you've got blokes inside the circle like Andrew Simons, who is incredibly agile at mid-wicket there, and other blokes in there who can throw the pegs down. It's what one-day cricket's all about.
And you've got another bloke who's pretty accurate too, Adam Dale. I see he's just gone to the top of the list with 5 bowled. That's worth $5,000.
My word, yeah, he's just had the birth of his new baby daughter as well, so the $5 grand I think will come in handy for him. But he's been an inspiration to us all. He's bowled superbly well, and whether he goes for a few runs or not, he's always in the wickets.
And the Vicks must be kicking themselves for letting him go.
Well, that's right, yeah. Who cares about the Vicks? Hope they can get up tomorrow, though.
Don't want a trip to the West? You'd like to stay here, obviously.
Yeah, we don't mind playing here in front of our home ground. If we can secure a final here, we get very good support.
And Jeff Foley's had a very, very consistent season.
Very good. Jeff's been in the wilderness of Shield cricket the last couple of years, but in the last 2, he's really cemented a spot in the one-day side and the Shield side as well. So, he's played a very important part of our wins.
All right, well, not only did Stuart Law help Queensland get to victory today and into the final, but also man of the match for your efforts. So you've got the Mercantile Mutual mug. Well done.
Very good, thanks. It'll be full of 4X very soon.
OK, and I guess also from personal point of view, the 90-odd doesn't do you any harm when selectors might be looking at changes for the one-days in South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in the forefront of my mind. I'd like to be there, but, at this stage, we got a couple of really tough Shield games coming up for Queensland, and I'm looking forward to playing in those. But first things first, the final next weekend, if we can get through that, if I have solid performances, well, might be able to cement a berth for England at least.
And you seem to be just bowling the leggies now, not the medium paces. You're quite enjoying that?
Yeah, it's a different challenge. I haven't been able to bowl the medium paces because of a shoulder injury, which I got in India, but, the leggies are coming out all right, so... You've got to bowl in the right time as well. Seven runs and over to get. I thought it was a pretty good time to bowl them.
That's one of the joys of being captain, mate.
They're dead right, yeah.
OK, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you in the final next week.
Thanks, mate. Be good.
OK, doke, there we are. Very happy Queensland captain, and now it's back to you, Greg Ritchie.
Thanks, Ian. Yes, Stuart Law there. He's a very good cricketer and a very nice man indeed. We'll be back here at the Gabba after this short break.
Australia's favourite Saturday night party is back.
You were good.
And Tal's guests this week include Russell Crowe, John Tesh, Deborah Cox and Desiree. McDonald's present Hey Hey the Non-Stop Party tonight, 6:30 on 9.
Ironman champion Jonathan Crowe demonstrates Stingos, the sting and itch treatment from Park Davis. Stingos quickly relieves the pain and reduces the inflammation of mosquito bites, ants, sea lice and bee stings. Stingos. So the sting goes.
This little angel has a secret love. Don't get caught. Such a devious boy, heavens above. Don't get caught. And she simply can't resist.
The smooth shell of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate and the irresistible creamy flowing yolk that will ultimately give them away.
Don't get caught with egg on your face. Can't resist them Cadbury cravings.
Don't get caught.
We take the flag for service. We take the flag for smiles. We take the flag for comfort. We take the prize for style. Yeah! We take the flag. We take the flag. Underneath our southern skies.
You'll see our flag fly high.
We take the flag.
The biggest garden equipment sale is now on. Still electric blowers, $135. Still petrol trimmers, $225. Husqvarna petrol blowers, $199. Husqvarna chainsaws, $399. Victor water blasters, $299. Victor sports mowers, $439. The latest Honda mowers, $559. Honda brush cutters, $495. Still, Honda, Husqvarna and Victor, everything up to 25% off. Available from these stores. Sale must end soon.
It's always best to be out of your depth. And I think we pulled that one off. Everything turned up to 11. It's a record that has hips.
During February, every Hoover Contour frost-free refrigerator comes with a market umbrella, free. Hoover, ahead of the rest.
So a tremendous match here at the Gabba in the first of the semi-finals in the Mercantile Mutual Cup, and a very, very good win to the Queensland Bulls. More cricket action tomorrow from the WACA, where the Western Australian Warriors will take on the Victorian Bushrangers. That promises to be a very, very good match, and the winner of that match will meet the Bulls in the final. So we'll look forward to your company tomorrow for the second of the Mercantile Mutual Cup semi-finals. But for now, from the Gabba, it's goodbye. He picks up the wicket. Another beautiful piece of outswing bowling.
Gone. OBW. Ellis has been given. Prestwich has got 2.
In the air and gone. So New South Wales lose their sixth wicket. Scott Prestwich takes the catch at mid-on.
Chance at the point and well taken.
Got him. Very, very well bowled from Dale. He kept it pitched up. That's what he had to do. Got him. Clean bowled. 50 important runs. And just put 6 more to the total out towards the Mercantile Mutual side. $6 and $900.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.